There are 47 cards in Magic the Gathering's history at time of shooting with the word charm in them. They are instant speed, modal, cheap spells that have been played across many formats.
Yes, we're going to talk about all of these charms in their application in EDH, aka Commander, aka Elder Dragon Highlander. The video starts right now.
Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We're going to talk about a lot of charms in this video, so we got to get going. But first, think about it. If you like the video by the end of it, hit that like button and that subscribe button. It really helps us out.
If there's a tier list in the future that you want to see, leave it in the comments. If it's fun, if it's relevant, if it's a meme, we might cover it.
Let's jump into these, Jake. We've got so many to cover. So as we're getting started, I'll give the same caveat for this one that I give for all of them. We are ranking these in a vacuum of charms. We are ranking them specifically for their EDH application. I don't want to hear anybody go, but it's good in Pioneer. Not interested. What we're doing is rating them in application for EDH decks only, and we're rating them in a vacuum against each other. You're going to have some S's, you're going to have some F's. We're not saying that the S's of these charms are as good as, say, Soul Ring, and need to be in every card with every deck where the colors are relevant. In a vacuum, though, S to F. Jake, did I protect us against any backlash?
You did your best, but I'm sure we're going to get some if we botch this, so let's do our damnedest to make sure that we analyze them correctly.
We're going to start off with the Visions cycle of charms. It's cool how these were printed across Magic's history because they were printed in cycles where the charms are very relevant and similar to each other, and they apply to the colors that they are in, except for one set where it kind of flipped them, but we're looking at the cycles set by set. We got Emerald Charm up first. 1 green for an instant speed. Choose one. Untap target permanent or destroy target global enchantment. That's an enchantment that's not an aura. Or target creature loses flying until end of turn. Jake, on this one and across all these charms, you've always got 3 modes, okay? So having 3 modes, you want to see how many are relevant, and then of those relevant ones, how many are strong.
And then the other thing about charms is they are all instant.
Yes.
I know a lot of people know that, but some people don't. Just like the ultimatums are all sorceries,
right.
The charms are all instants. So let's talk about Emerald Charm. 1 green. We just talked about the modes. The only thing that's relevant on here that I really like is the destroy target enchantment. I do like a little bit the untap target permanent, which if you pair that with something like Grim Monolith or any other kind of mana source that's going to allow you to untap and get more mana out early, that's a lot of power on green. And of these visions charms, I do feel like this is one of the stronger ones.
Yeah, I see 1 relevant mode, like you said. I see 1, maybe 2 good tricks on there, but it's one of those tricks.
The flying I don't care about.
Yeah, so, I mean, for me, this one, we're starting off strong with Visions. We're starting with a D. What do you think?
I would actually rank this at like a C. I think that untap permanent is more relevant than we're giving this card credit for.
Okay. So we'll start with a C for that one. All right, we're starting on a strong place of lots of backlash. Hearth Charm.
Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
Hearth Charm, 1 red, instant speed, destroy target destroy target artifact creature, or all attacking creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn, or target creature with power 2 or less is unblockable.
Yeah, for me that, and we're talking about EDH, so just remember that. Destroy target artifact creature, that is just far too narrow to ever be really good and relevant when you're going into a game. As versatile as these charms are, even the attacking creatures get +1/+0, maybe if you're in a go-wide token kind of strategy.
Maybe Goblins it would work.
I mean, for 1 red, you could get some serious extra heat out of a very, very wide field. And then the 2 or less is unblockable is just meh.
Yeah, absolutely. This one's an E for me. I don't know if you want to even go lower.
No, I would go E on this card.
Okay.
It's not very good. I would never play it. Most likely, if you're looking at this list, like E, like we're probably not going to play that, but it's not just absolutely trash like an F is going to be. Let's talk about Funeral Charm, 1 black instant. choose one, target player chooses and discards a card, or target creature gets +2/-1 until end of turn, or target creature gains Swamp Walk.
This one has 2 irrelevant modes.
Until end of turn.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
2 irrelevant modes, and then possibly something to get the last little bit of damage through, but it's just not, it's not something that I would ever run in any deck for any reason.
Yeah, it's a waste of the 99. I would rank it at a solid F.
Yep, I think that this is going to represent our first F. You'll see some of the older cards. They have much less playability than some of the newer cards we're going to get to eventually. Jake, we got Vision Charm up next.
Yeah.
1
Go
blue,
ahead,
instant speed, target artifact phases out, which means essentially it's temporarily exiled if you're not familiar with phasing. Just think of it as temporary exile that comes back at your next upkeep. Or put the top 4 cards from target player's library into his or her graveyard, or all lands of one type are basic lands of your choice until end of relevancy on this ability. So, we've got 1 blue, save one of your artifacts from destruction.
For a mana rock, that's probably going to be the most relevant mode of this card.
Yeah, it seems
I think there's
irrelevant.
probably some. Can we look at it one more time?
Yeah, of course.
All lands of one type are a basic land. I mean, even if you're playing this with like Choke or Boil, and you're trying to turn someone's lands into something else so that you could destroy them, it's just wonky and bad. I would rank it as an E.
Yeah, it's E because it does have, I guess, 1 playable mode. But it's just not going to make the impact that we want it to make. We've got Hope Charm up next. If you'll introduce this one, while I do some bookkeeping over here.
So 1 white, choose 1. Target creature gains first strike until end of turn, or target player gains 2 life, or destroy target local enchantment. What that means is that is an aura. So very narrow. 2 life doesn't matter. The target creature gains first strike until end of turn is just in EDH. That's just it. This card doesn't say draw a card. There's no cycling on it.
Yeah.
There's no alternatives. This is just, again, another F for me. And you could see, like, it's visions. These cards have been around for a long time.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, just destroying 1 aura, it doesn't even have the versatility of your green one up here that'll destroy any enchantment, and so, or global enchantment, sorry, and so it just for me is an F that we can move on from. Let's jump into some good ones. How about some good ones? What do you think?
Yeah, this one is one of the lesser good ones, but
Sure.
it's a step in the right direction, that's for sure.
You can have, for Selesnya, target creature gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. So for EDH, I'm looking at that as target creature gains trample. Or exile target creature with power 5 or greater, so a narrow removal spell. Or put a 2/2 night white creature token onto the battlefield, and it has vigilance. I mean,
pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, it's underwhelming, but at least we've got some playable modes. We can remove a creature. We can get through with trample for our final bit of damage.
Sure. And that can come after combat damage, I think, or after attackers are declared.
Right.
I think that the card is fair, and I would rank it at a C, teetering on D territory.
Yeah.
The exile 5 or greater, it's just narrow. There's better removal that you can play. If you're looking for a removal spell and you're trying to tack on a night creature onto it as well, it seems silly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna throw my vote in D and pull it down to a D.
That's fine.
Let's look at Rakdos Charm. We got Rakdos for choose 1, exile all cards from a graveyard, or destroy an artifact, or each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. This feels the most relevant out of anyone we've seen so far.
Yeah, I would say so. Exile all cards from target player's graveyard. That's very, very relevant to Commander. A lot of people use their graveyard as their second hand. Destroy target artifact. That's going to hit everybody's favorite mana rock. Or each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. This is probably the mode that you're going to use the least, but if there is somebody who's playing a very go-wide strategy, a token strategy, this could be a 2 converted mana cost way of eliminating that player from the game. So I really, really like this card, and I would rank it at a B plus and maybe even an A.
Yeah,
in Commander.
I like B. I like B a lot for this one. Each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. I know is fairly irrelevant, but I've definitely played against a Goblin deck before that had something like 40, 50, 60 tokens on the battlefield all at once, and that's that's a way to absolutely just hose a player out of the game if their token stuff has just been going absolutely wild. That can win you the game.
100%. Let's talk about Izzet Charm. 1 red, 1 blue. Instant. Choose 1 counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2, or Izzet Charm deals 2 damage to target creature, or draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. So a little bit of pump or a little bit of extra damage if you're trying to finish something off big.
Yeah.
The conditional counter spell on the non-creature spell, that loses a lot of potency in EDH, as you mentioned earlier. And then the draw 2, discard 2, that's not awful. That offers a good way of fixing if you have like a lot of high cost stuff in an early hand. But all in all, this shines a lot more in formats like Modern and Pioneer.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say that. I like this in 60 card constructed. I don't like leak counter spells like Mana Leak like this. I don't like leak counter spells in EDH. A shock in EDH is wholly underwhelming, and maybe we can use this to cycle, but there's a lot better ways for 2 and 3 mana to wheel if that's all you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm sure the CEDH crowd is going to be like, Izzet Charm is great. Sure. You guys don't know what you're talking about, and maybe it is.
We're classy casual over here at Jake and Joel and Magic. We don't play CDH. Let us know if we are wrong. I do want to give this a C though. For
I was going to give it a B. I was going to give it like a B. So I'm fine with ranking it at C.
Yeah,
if that's
I don't think it's as good as Rakdos Charm. So
sure.
Yeah, I'd rather drop it there. Talk about a Golgari charm here. We got Golgari instant speed. All creatures get -1/-1, or destroy an enchantment, or regenerate each creature you control.
So, Joel and I talked about this card earlier. We were on a little bit of a different page.
Yeah.
But, all creatures get -1/-1. That can be relevant after like a damage effect, and maybe your opponent pumps, and then you're able to get in for the extra -1/-1, or you play this alongside Pestilence, and it's a way of creating a greater effect.
Maybe.
But I really like the destroy target enchantment. There's a lot of enchantments that can get out of hand in EDH, but you don't really like to play spells that specifically say destroy target enchantment. You oftentimes want them to be modal, like this spell, and offer a different thing. What I like about this card is that if it's like a damage type effect, like Blasphemous Act, regenerate each creature you control, that could be really, really relevant after a board wipe for 2 mana instant speed to regenerate everything. Now, I know you have a counterpoint to that as well.
Yeah, so a lot of wipe in EDH says they cannot be regenerated specifically.
Sure.
And so I think where this one really wants to be an A, it looks like a strong B right alongside Rakdos for me.
Yeah, I do like the regenerate. If you're playing a go wide kind of thing, I think this is a good spell to have.
So where would you fall as far as your ranking? Are you arguing on the B, or do you
No.
As
far as my ranking, I feel like C plus B territory is fine.
Okay.
So if you're feeling B, like if you're saying B and I'm saying E, you and I are going to have a conversation. But if you're saying B and I'm saying C, I can kind of defer to see the B side of it. Let's talk about Azorius Charm. 1 blue, 1 white, instant. Choose 1. Creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn, or draw a card, or put target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library.
You got 1 relevant mode, you got a bad draw spell for EDH, and you got lifelink.
Yeah, and even that relevant mode, that tempo, I mean, if this were like a condemn and you were putting it on the bottom, I would be like, this card is a house and it's excellent.
Right.
But they're getting the card right back, so it's really just, again, maybe a C EDH card. I'm not super impressed with it. If you are playing, like, I don't know, big stuff and you're able to get lifelink on it, maybe that can be relevant because it can get you back in the game, but I'm just not super impressed. I would rank it at like...
Nice.
Yeah, S seems good. No, I think D territory is fine. It's a card that I probably wouldn't play.
Yeah. Treva's Charm. We're into the Planeshift charms now. These are all built around the dragons of Invasion Planeshift Apocalypse block. We've got Trevor's Charm up first. Bant. Bant instant for destroy an enchantment, which we know Jake loves.
I love that.
Remove target attacking creature from the game, which is dope.
Exile.
Or draw a card, discard a card.
So a tiny little bit of fixing.
Yep.
I love the exile, and I love the optional enchantment.
Right, so
this
you're mostly
kind of reminds me of like a more mana restrictive Mortify going on here.
Yeah, exactly. You're really wanting to hit one of these two modes, but you do have that versatility third mode just in case. You know, it's like you went and got something with your blue or your white and put it on top of your library. You need to draw it right now. You've got Treva's Charm. You wanted to remove an attacking creature or destroy that enchantment that's letting them, coastal piracy or something.
Sure.
But I think it's got some solid versatility. I'm in A-B territory for this one.
Yeah, I do like the exile and the enchantment. It's not just like a mortified destroy target creature or enchantment.
Right.
This is removing the creature from the game. So it is a little bit mana restrictive, which makes me feel like it's important to throttle it back, not let it get a little too much love. But yeah. I could see it being like a B, and like a strong B. I have played this card in EDH. I played it in Rafika the Many. I think it's a great card, but do I think it's an A? I don't know. Maybe it is like B plus.
I don't think it's quite there for an A. I think the instinct is right there.
Next up, we got Rith's Charm, Naya. For an instant, choose one. Destroy target non-basic land, or put 3 1/1 green Saproling creature tokens into play, or prevent all damage a source of your choice would deal this turn. So if somebody's about to go ham with a fireball...
Right, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It stops a Banefire in its tracks. You can get 3 1/1s, or you can...
Instant speed at the end of your opponent's turn.
Right, or you can destroy
relevant.
one of their non-basic lands, Cabal Coffers or something like that.
A lot of time that is relevant.
Yeah,
that is a relevant mode.
But do I think it's relevant enough to get it above a C? I don't think so.
Yeah, the 3 Saprolings is kind of meh. I mean, if you have Anointed Procession and Doubling Season and other stuff on the field, then you'll be getting more tokens. But
yeah,
no, I think that's fine. I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, for sure. We got Dromar's Charm up next. Dromar's Charm says, choose one. You gain 5 life, or counter target creature. Or counter target spell, or target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I do like the counter spell.
Yeah,
but
it's like a bad counter spell. This is like a bad modal counter spell. It's got 2 other modes, so you're like, at least I have some other options, but 5 life, irrelevant. -2/-2 on a creature, probably irrelevant. Counter target spell, good. And so, you're holding this in your hand to counter 1 spell in EDH, or maybe bring a creature down into blocking territory to kill.
Yeah, I don't care about the 5 life at all. The counter target spell, and then it's like you're saying, I want a counter spell, but I want the ability to give something -2/-2 on it as well,
right? Just
in case. And I feel like that's like not what you're looking for in EDH. I would rather just, play a counter spell with cycling on it. We just got something like that printed in Ikoria. I would say E.
Yeah. I'm actually right there with you on an E. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's just really, really underwhelming.
Yeah.
And I want to know, in the palm of that dragon's hand, like, who is this like soldier that's on this token that this dragon gives so much of I don't know, it's just weird.
Darigaaz's Charm is up next. We got Jund for choose one. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, or it deals 3 to any target, or target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. So we've got a Lightning Bolt, a return to hand creature card, or, pump something out of range of whatever's blocking it.
I really like that instant speed return a creature.
Yeah, EOT,
so right before your turn, Darigaaz's Charm, return a creature to your hand. That can be really relevant. 3 damage to target creature or player. It's not awful.
No.
3 is definitely a lot better than 2.
Yeah.
Target creature gets +3/+3, so if you're trying to pump something out of range of damage,
Sure.
it's kind of relevant there. It's not like +5 life is on this card,
No.
so I think I would rank it in like D or C territory. I don't think it's awful. I actually would rank it at a C, just because that instant speed return a creature is pretty good.
C actually sounds really good to me. I like the instant speed, like you said, return, and I think that's got some relevance.
I mean, now like there, and that spell exists, and it does exist at 1 green mana. You can return something EOT at instant speed, but I do like that. I do like that the card has a little bit of versatility.
Right. Crosis' Charm is up next.
Yes. All right. So 1 red, 1 black, 1 blue. Grixis, for return target permanent to its owner's hand or destroy target non-black creature, and it can't be regenerated, or destroy target artifact. This is the best charm that we've reviewed today, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's got the most versatility. All 3 modes are pretty relevant. This gets you out of a big attack. This is destroying anything that's not black, and then the ability to just ace an artifact is pretty huge. I think Crosis' Charm, especially in these colors for what this deck wants to do, most likely, I think it's an A.
Yeah, I think it's an A as well. That return target permanent to its owner's hand, that can disrupt a combo. That
Right.
says permanent. So in the right situation, this card can be really, really impactful. And I don't hate any mode on it.
Right.
I would run it. I would run it.
That's the thing that I like about it the most, is I don't hate any of the modes. We've got Evolution Charm. Now we are into the Planar Chaos ones, and what you'll notice about
And a little
these,
less expensive.
Yep. What you'll notice about these is that they break the color wheel. These have modes that are kind of all over the place for the colors, and so they do offer some versatility along those lines. But we'll review them and we'll see exactly where they fall. Evolution Charm is 1 green, 1 other for choose 1. Search your library for a basic land, put it into your hand. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, or target creature gains flying until end of turn. I think this one. I think that this one's pretty solid. Those first 2 modes
I do too.
have a lot of playability.
That last mode is a womp.
Yeah, and maybe you can throw something big up into the air and fly over for some big attacks, but all in all, it's irrelevant. And but it's got this instant speed, EOT, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand right before your turn. It's got some playability.
Search your library for a basic land at instant speed. EOT is really, really nice.
It's kind of
I'm
funny.
pretty sure 99% of the time that's going to be the mode that's played on this card.
Yeah,
if it's played.
Absolutely. I wish that it said search your library for a forest. I would just rather it say a forest so that you could go get some kind of land that taps for multiple. Land is not that bad. I mean, I think this is like BC territory.
Yeah, I would definitely rank it at a B.
Okay.
I like the modes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Fury Charm. 1 red, 1 other, instant. Choose 1. Destroy target artifact, or target creature gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn, or remove 2 time counters from target permanent or suspended card.
Playable in Jorah.
Yeah, it's playable in Jorah, and I'm sure that there's some people who are going to make a case for this card, but it is very, very, very narrow. The destroy target artifact is relevant. There's a lot of very, very good artifacts in EDH, so that's a relevant ability.
But there are better
the
cards to
+1/+1 and
artifacts.
trample is for sure. I would rather just play Vandal Blast or any other kind of like Ancient Grudge.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of meh to me. I would rank it at D or an E.
Yeah, I actually was gonna say E. I'm glad we're on the same page with you. With the red charm from Planar Chaos. Midnight Charm is up next. Midnight Charm, we got 1 damage to target creature and you gain a life, or target creature gains first strike until end of turn, or tap target creature. Jake, this is an F. I'm not taking questions at this time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's just a waste of the 99.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's just no sense in playing it. How about that blue one up there?
Piracy Charm, 1 blue. Target creature gains Island Walk until end of turn, or target creature gets +2/-1 until end of turn, or target player discards a card. So a black effect on there with discard from blue. The +2/-1 is also kind of a black effect. We're getting a -1 little removal spell
stuff
for 1
like
blue.
Aetherling. That's represented in blue a little bit. Island Walk is really the only truly relevant part of this thing, and it's
if you're playing mono blue. Yeah, I could see it maybe having a little bit of fringe constructed play just because you have removal on a blue card, but like 60 card constructed.
Sure.
But for me, like from an EDH perspective, it's just like E to me.
Okay.
What do you think? F?
I think it's a waste of the 99.
Yeah, we could go F plus. That's fine.
We'll go.
F is fine.
We'll just drop.
I would never
F.
play it. I would never play it.
Exactly.
So that's
obviously.
fair.
We got Dawn Charm up next to round out our Chaos ones. 1 white, 1 other for prevent all combat damage, or regenerate a target creature, or counter target spell that targets you. This one starts at D for me because of that surprise counter target spell that targets you in white. I just really love that.
Yeah, I think I would put it at a D as almost playable. It's like, yeah,
it's just on the
I
line.
think I could, if I'm playing mono white,
right,
then I'm playing it. And in any other situation, I'm likely not playing it. But in mono white, being able to counter a spell that targets me,
right,
that's pretty strong. If somebody's coming at me with some sort of Thoughtseize type effect, it's not bad.
Yeah, if you're playing mono
or like Identity Crisis or Rakdos' Return,
right,
like,
dude. Yeah, that could absolutely help you. We're into Onslaught now. We got Vitality Charm for 1 green. Choose one, a 1/1 onto the battlefield. Target creature gets +1/+1, gains trample, or regenerate target beast.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're into some tough ones here. I am on F with you. I don't really think we even need to spend any more time. It's a waste.
I mean, it's EDH, dude.
Yeah.
It's like,
right.
It's just bad.
It's just a waste of your 99. Maybe somebody's got some beast tribal thing that's gonna get mad at us for Vitality Charm, but overall, it's just not
pretty
super
narrow.
playable. We got Fever Charm next.
Yeah, Fever Charm, 1 red. Target creature gains haste until end of turn, or target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn, or it deals 3 damage to target wizard.
So, what is below F? What is less than F?
Yeah, I feel really bad for all these Onslaught charms, but you have to think, compared to the other charms that we've reviewed, these are 1 converted mana cost.
Yeah.
So you're trying to think, what is the maximum power that I can put on 1 mana and the maximum versatility before it becomes busted?
Right. It is relevant to note, you're right, they were all from Onslaught. That was a very tribal heavy deck. These were printed, as you can see with Misery Charm. I'll keep making my point as we go. 1 black, destroy target cleric.
Another F.
Return target cleric, or target player loses 2 life. These are just ones that unfortunately are way too narrow.
They're just way outdated.
Right.
It's like way before the MTG power creep really took over and we started to see a lot of power for cheap.
Right.
These are just probably very fair for the time. Like that cleric card that we just saw, that was likely designed for limited play because they knew clerics were going to be in the set.
Yep.
You'd be able to destroy a cleric, get a cleric back.
Well, you had cards like Rotlung Reanimator in that set too, so you had cleric synergies that were just rolling and were standard constructed playable. You just didn't see any good ones. I mean, Trickery Charm, for instant blue, target creature gains flying, or target creature's type becomes the creature type of your choice until end of turn. Or look at the top 4, and then put them back in any order. You don't even.
That is the only thing that saves this card.
Yeah,
is that last.
But you don't even net
mode.
a card. You can just rearrange the top 4. You don't even get to draw one. I would rather it say put 1 in your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library.
Yeah, probably so. I would say this card's an E.
Yeah, it does rise above. We got to give some Onslaught card a little bit of love. And I mean,
we don't have to, but if it were an F, I would say it's an F.
Right.
But I do like EOT for 1 blue rearranging the top 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not bad.
Piety Charm rounds out our Onslaught set of charms. We got 1 white for destroy target enchant creature, so destroy target aura. Target soldier gets +2/+2 until end of turn, or all your creatures get Vigi until end of turn.
So that, just keep in mind, that Vigi is for 1 white. They're all getting Vigi until end of turn.
Yeah.
So that's not absolutely terrible. In like a go wide kind of situation, it's not awful. But that being said, I would still rank this card in E.
Yeah, I think we're on the exact same page. It does join Trickery Charm in becoming an E to round out our Onslaughts. Jake, let's get into Mirage.
All right. I said earlier that I was super excited to talk about these Mirage charms, and once you hear about the abilities, you will be too.
I gotta say, you need to pay attention to the art on all these Mirage ones, because these are probably some of the dopest art on any of the Mirage charms. Jake, take us away with Seedling.
It's freaking fantastic art. 1 green, choose 1, return target creature enchantment to its owner's hand, or regenerate target green creature, or target creature gains trample until end of turn. No buff on that trample, just it gains trample.
Sure.
But the regenerate is kind of relevant.
Yeah.
Return target creature enchantment to owner's hand. So, again...
You know, something swinging with some huge enchantment, I guess you could return the aura to their hand, block.
Or if you have an enchantment that when you play it, it nets a card.
Right.
You might have a little bit of synergy returning it to play it again to draw another card. Still,
it doesn't rise above E, and I'm arguing with myself over making it an F.
I would just say dump it in E. If it's even mildly playable. If it's unplayable, it's an F. But if it's mildly playable, even by any shred of the imagination, I think it should be an E, because especially at 1 mana, you can't be more mana efficient than that unless you're playing Phyrexian mana. So.
For sure. Here's one that I don't think is mildly playable. Target creature gets haste, or Chaos Chom deals 1 damage to a creature, or destroy target wall.
Ugh, awful. It's an F.
Yeah, this one unfortunately just gets dumped into the F pile.
It's just an F, dude. And the art is amazing. Let's talk about Ebony Charm. 1 black. Choose 1 target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Absolutely awful. Or remove from the game up to 3 cards in any player's graveyard. So you can pick and choose.
Sure.
Or target creature cannot be blocked this turn except by artifact or black. So it has fear.
Jake, you can remove an entire graveyard for 0.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't be able to have the versatility of being able to drain your opponent for 1.
I hope you're not making a case for this card.
No, it's unfortunately, I would say, I want to do E for Ebony Charm, but sadly I feel like it's an F.
You know what, Jake? I like E for Ebony Charm, and the art is so cool. We're going to put it in E. How do you feel about that?
I would never play it, but yeah. Seems good.
I would never play it either, brother. Sapphire Charm is our blue Mirage Charm. We got target player draws a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep, so it's instant, so you can do it at the EOT right before you go and draw an extra card. Or target creature an opponent controls phases out, so you can't save one of your own creatures, but you can put one of theirs away until their next upkeep, so that's fairly relevant, especially if you've got some oppressive thing. Jake plays Karavik. I bet it would be very annoying for, right after he casts Karavik, for me to go Sapphire Charm. He gets 1 damage dealt out, and Karavik disappears until he gets all the way back around to his turn. That would be pretty annoying. Or target creature gains flying until end of turn. So this one's got 2 fairly playable modes that aren't, they're not strong by any stretch of the imagination, but they're playable.
Yeah, I agree. I would not play this card, but I do like that it cantrips. That's the only thing I really like about it. The phasing is kind of relevant, but it's kind of outdated. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
So if we're playing it just for a draw spell, we got better options, and I think it falls into the E pile.
Yeah, E. The E pile is thick.
We love our E pile. We love our E-Pile.
So far, Crosis' Charm, that's like the card to beat.
Right? Ivory Charm is going to round out our Mirage ones and our super awesome art charms. All creatures get -2/-0 until end of turn, or prevent 1 damage, or tap target creature. I don't know how this escapes an F. You can try and help it escape an F if you'd like.
I mean, if your opponent has a big attack, like if they swing out, that -2/-0 for 1 white can be a little bit relevant. Especially if you're at a game with like 4 to 6 players, somebody's going to be playing some sort of aggro thing. But still, no. Would it make it into my 99? No,
never.
It wouldn't.
Never in a million years.
Let's talk about a card that came out of Modern Horizons.
We gotta add some spice to this. We're getting a lot of E's and F's. Is this our E and F
What are we
tier
supposed
list?
to do? What are we supposed to do, man? I mean, we have an A, and I think we're about to talk about a card that's going to be ranked higher, but it's not going to be this one. Umezawa's Charm, 1 black, 1 other. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. You gain 2 life. I think if this card said you may choose any mode, any number of times, or not, or
any number of times. I'm going to choose -1/-1.
Hold on,
10 times.
Let me take that back. I think if this card said you may choose each mode and do all 3 things, it becomes slightly playable. But even then, I don't care about the 2 life. The -1/-1 is barely relevant. And the +2/+2 pump is just negligible. It's just, I do not care. Oh man, I feel like it's an F, dude.
Yeah, we got a bunch of Fs in a row. But you know what? Sometimes when you're playing, you got a bunch of lands in a row, and you gotta get through the lands. You gotta filter through the lands, because eventually we're gonna hit an excellent card. And Jake, that is what we have here. Archmage's Charm, blue for choose 1, counter a spell. Target player draws 2, or gain control of target Soul Ring.
Yeah, or I mean, 1 or less.
Right. So like, you're gaining control.
Go get the mana crypt.
Right,
go get
exactly.
something.
Right. Yeah.
The thing that holds this back, and Joel and I have discussed this card, is the restrictive mana cost. Most likely, you're going to play this in a 2-color deck. If in the certain deck, maybe you could jam it into 3-color.
Right.
But as far as being mana efficient and being able to play this card at like an early stage of the game, most likely you're going to want to be in mono blue or 2-color. Leaning heavily toward blue, and just because of that mana restriction, despite all of its abilities being very good, it has to be an A. I don't think it can make it into S.
Yeah, I would rate it an S, but I think you're absolutely right. You do need the triple blue. It's, an extra blue counterspell kind of card. But, you can steal a Soul Ring, which is pretty dope, if you ask me.
And that can swing again. I mean, that can just end the game. That can just be like, all right, and we're off to the races.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
So those were the 2 that we had from Modern Horizons. It's not always a huge cycle of charms. But we've got Temur Charm.
Now we go to Khans of Tarkir.
Yeah, Khans of Tarkir. We got Temur Charm up first. It is Temur cost for choose 1. Target creature you control gets +1/+1. It fights target creature. Counter spell unless its controller pays 3, so a mana leak. And then creatures with power 3 or less cannot block this turn. Jake, this one feels fairly relevant to me.
I mean, so you can see, we're talking about cards from the early 2000s, earlier in like 90s, and now you can see what came out in 2014. These charms, which obviously have a lot more power level to them. I think that this card is great.
Yeah.
That mana leak on this, it becomes a lot more relevant when it's 3 mana.
Yeah, and you do have players tapping out occasionally late game.
Sure. Sure.
It's
especially if they're trying to combo. They play the first piece, and then the second piece they might be, a couple mana shy, and then they can't hit that leak. So that can stifle that. The +1/+1 until end of turn, and then the fight, that can be relevant if you're playing this in the right deck.
Yeah, fight could be relevant for sure, and then 3 or less is going to get you through a token deck or somebody who's only got dorks set up as blockers. It's hard for me to give this a straight up A though, but this feels like a solid B.
It's a B, dude.
Yeah,
that's what I felt too. I don't think it's an A either, but compared to all of these other charms, and that really is what this tier list is we're ranking these charms against each other for their EDH playability.
Right.
I think that, that's one of the best cards that we've reviewed today. And you can see it's hard to get an A. So
yeah, it definitely is. Well, I mean, it's EDH, and these are low-cost instant spells. It just kind of comes with the territory. You know, you need to have some impact. You need to get value for every mana you spend in EDH, because everybody else is going to be throwing haymakers. You gotta sometimes tick a little haymaker off, and maybe you can mana leak, or destroy an artifact enchantment. You know, something like that. We do like these in EDH, though. Look at Sultai Charm, Jake.
This card is great, man. It's just absolutely great. It has Destroy on it. It has Artifact and Enchantment Destruction. And draw 2, discard a card. So it has Velocity. It has Destruction. It has some cleanup with that Artifact Enchantment. I would put this card... and it's green. It's only 3... It's 3 colors to cast it.
Sure.
So, you know, you're going to have no problem casting this in the right deck. An A.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, Sultai Charm gets an A just because of the versatility of destruction on it. I think
like it's like A plus, like heading toward S.
Yeah, that in and of itself,
the
versatility of the destruction is what I love about it the most. We got Mardu Charm up next. Do you want to introduce us?
Mardu Charm. Mardu for 4 damage to target creature, or put 2 1/1 white warrior creature tokens onto the battlefield. They gain first strike until end of turn. Or target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. So a Duress, a Flame Tongue Kavu, and
some
2 1/1 white warriors.
Strike. Yeah,
with first strike.
It's not super impactful. 4 kills some creatures, definitely not all. Most likely, you're probably going to use this mode, I think, to see maybe if they have a board wipe, if you're playing some kind of, you know, big attacky Mardu deck. I just don't... I feel like it is just too narrow for me and falls around a D.
Yeah, and Mardu cards are tough, too, because the fixing in these kind of decks is sometimes a pain.
Yeah.
Do I think that it's awful? No, I would rank it like a D.
Yeah, right. I think it's got some fringe playability, but it's not going to be an auto-include in Mardu decks that need some versatility at the instant speed slot, like, say, Sultai Charm would. Jeskai Charm is up next. Put target creature on top of its owner's library. Jeskai Charm deals 4 to target opponent, or creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain lifelink until end of turn for Jeskai colors. This is another one. It doesn't feel impactful enough. If it's set on bottom of its owner's library, we're talking about one very relevant mode. We're talking, but how it's written, we're talking about 3 somewhat relevant modes. This one I hate. I don't even consider this one a relevant mode.
The damage to target opponent is really a bummer.
This has got 2 relevant modes, and this is only relevant if you've got a go wide strategy, and this is just delaying the inevitable. You're in red and white. Why not just destroy it?
Yeah, dude. I know that there's people that have made this card playable in some sort of 60 card constructed formats, but this is just not very good.
No, I actually would go all the way to E on this one.
Yeah, I would rank it at E as well. That +1/+1 and lifelink, that can be relevant if your field is wide enough, but most likely if you're in Jeskai, I don't think you're playing like a go wide strategy where that's going to be completely relevant.
Right, yeah, exactly. Abzan Charm's up next.
Alright, so 1 green, 1 black, 1 white. Exile target creature with power 3 or greater. Or you draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. That's really nice at the EOT. Or distribute 2 1/1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures. So I care the least about the last mode.
Sure.
I'm sure that there's some people that like that mode, but I do like exile target creature with power 3 or greater. That's pretty wide. 1 and 2 are the only thing that are going to escape this card. So probably like mana dorks or small little fringy characters or creatures that have niche abilities are going to be able to survive this, but anything big is getting exiled. And then that EOT draw too, that velocity, I really like that as well at instant speed.
Yeah, it's got some playability. In Abzan, there's a lot of counter strategies. +1/+1 counter strategies is what I'm talking about. And so, you may be able to find some relevancy there. Highly relevant first mode, pretty relevant second mode, even though in black, there are better ways to draw cards, but it's nice to have that as a backup if we're just not hitting that three or greater power creature that we want to exile. This feels like a solid B to me. This is just a good right hook, you know?
Yeah, I think that that's fair. I would even go as far as to rank it C, and I would still play it at C.
Yeah.
But I'm fine to get behind a B.
No, I actually
not
like
a lot
C.
of deviation.
You converted me into a C lover
Converted
of
you?
Abzan. Oh, got him.
Oh.
Simic Charm is up next. You can give a creature +3/+3 until end of turn, or you can have permanents you control gain hexproof, or you can return a target creature to its owner's hand.
Yeah, so a really nice tempo card, a pretty notable size pump on this. A lot of the pump that we've looked at has been pretty unimpressive. This is probably some of the best pump that we've seen. But permanents you control gaining hexproof until end of turn is brutal. That pretty much says, all right, stop everything you're doing, focus on someone else, because for the rest of this turn, my shit is not to be messed with.
So hexproof you can get for 2 mana on all of your stuff, on all of your creatures already. Simic
so that should remind you of Heroic Intervention in a way.
That's exactly the card I was competent to. They add a blue on here instead of a generic to make it all permanents gaining hexproof. So that's what you're playing this card for. What it represents is that spell plus, in a pinch, return target creature to its owner's hand, and I find the 3/3 wildly irrelevant in most situations.
Sure.
But
despite that,
yeah, exactly. I still very highly value permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn.
Yeah, for 2 mana, that's very, very good. Yeah. That's very good. I would say, because this is going to protect important combo pieces during your setup, I would rank this at an A, dude, or an F.
Dun, 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 dun.
F. Come on, F.
No, I like A.
Right.
I wanna rank that one at A, just because with these charms, it's so easy to find an F.
Yeah, that's true.
It is not easy to find.
We don't want
A's, and
Simic
B's.
Charm to be buried in with all of the stuff from Mirage.
Yeah, we got Orzhov Charm next.
Yeah, Orzhov Charm, 1 black, 1 white. Choose one. Return target creature you control and all auras you control attached to it to their owner's hand, or destroy target creature and you lose life equal to its toughness, or return target creature card with converted mana cost 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. There are some important creatures that have 1 converted mana cost that you can get back with this, but that's kind of meh. The first mode is also kind of meh to me. In the right deck, I think that you can get some good versatility out of it, especially if they're trying to remove your creature and you're able to bounce it. You don't lose all of your auras if that's your game. But what I really like about this card is the optional destroy removal, spot removal in EDH. It's good. Never something to be undervalued. It's always really good to be able to disrupt something.
I would rank this one a C, and here's why. Because it essentially is a destruction spell that you can put into your auras deck, into your enchantress deck, into to get value like that. You know, it's not a destruction spell that you're going to run in a deck where you're not running auras, obviously, and the one CMC creature is just pretty wildly irrelevant. But I do like that, a specific kind of deck can have a removal spell that is tuned toward that deck. Gruel Charm is up next, and this one looks like some kind of sledgehammer. We got Gruel for choose one. Creatures without flying can't block, or gain control of all permanents you own, or Lightning Bolt each creature with flying.
Oh man, it's just such a bummer.
Yeah, I've really liked where these charms were. We're out of the other set now, and we're into, what is this? Dragon?
This is going to be like I believe this is Gatecrash.
Oh yeah, this is Gatecrash. That's right. I'd forgotten my set symbols there for a second. For me, Gruel Charm is a standard or limited card and not anywhere close to an EDH card. Is there any part of this? I mean, you can just run a land that has gain control of permanents you own. So that's we can take care of that way easy. Creatures without flying can't block. Maybe. And it deals 3 damage. I feel like this is
I mean, it does absolutely ace flyers, which is nice.
Well, kind of.
And I think that gets
Small
it out of
flyers.
F to territory, but I would rank it at an E.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. E teetering on F. What do you think about Orzhov? What do you think about Dimir Charm?
Dimir Charm, 1 black, 1 blue. Choose 1 counter target sorcery spell, or destroy target creature with power 2 or less, or look at the top 3 cards of target player's library, then put 1 back and the rest into that player's graveyard. So notable, that can be you or your opponent.
Yeah, you can surveil yourself or surveil them.
Yeah, counter target sorcery spell, that's relevant. There's a lot of very strong sorceries that happen in EDH, being able to counter for 1 black, 1 blue. I mean,
we did a tier list on all the ultimatums. Go check out our tier list on all the ultimatums. Dimir Charm counters every single ultimatum. That's pretty super dope.
Yeah,
destroy target creature power 2 or less. I mean, come on, what are we destroying? Oracle of Modiah?
Yeah.
Maybe. And then
I mean, yeah, like we do talk about that, but there are niche creatures that are going to have low power that are just like, if you have spot removal, we need to get on that.
Right.
So I do like counter target sorcery. It's just like, it's essentially 3 things that are all kind of meh that are crammed into 1 card.
Right.
And by putting them all together, it makes it like a B to me.
Yeah, well, actually, I was going to go more like D, so should we compromise and go C for Dimir Charm? I really like how all 3 are fairly relevant. You're never going to be sitting there going, well, definitely 1 is what I'm trying to do. This can sit in your hand and be versatile in multiple situations, but again, it's going to be one of those like C grade top cuts, first cut out of the deck if I get something that is way more relevant to my theme or my game plan, you know?
Yeah, I just have to say that I don't think you'll ever during a game of EDH find a moment where that's a dead card in your hand. I do think that it will have an application a lot of the time. So, I think it's a solid C. It's a card worth considering. C for considering.
C for considering. Boros Charm is up next. We got deals 4 damage to a player. Permanents you control are indestructible this turn. Wow. Or target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Also pretty wow. I like Boros Charm a lot. I 100%. Hate the first mode, but this middle mode makes it so good.
Yeah, sadly it's red-white, which are like notable for being the worst EDH colors, and so it slots nicely into that. I do love Indestructible.
It's got to be a creature spell. I mean, it's got to be a creature deck for this to be relevant. You're not playing this in some kind of spellcastery thing. And so I feel like it hits C for creature decks.
I would say I would definitely rank it higher than a C. Permanents you control gain indestructible. I would I want to say A. So if you're wanting to say C, just because indestructible is just so powerful, and it's even cheaper than some of the indestructible, like Unbreakable Formation, some recent indestructible things that we've got. So I think B is fine for
B for Boros Charm.
B for Boros Charm. I think that's appropriate.
B for Blocks Armageddon. B for Almost Any. Because of
I mean, think about it like in that situation.
Armageddon.
Oh my god, its application alongside land destruction is just like, whoops, you didn't account for Boros Charm. What were you thinking?
What's Armageddon? 4 mana. Don't quote me on that. I think it's 4 mana. You got a 4 mana destroy all lands, and for 5th and 6th mana you protect all of yours. That's pretty mean. No one's gonna like you.
Yeah,
we are at the final cycle. These are the Alara ones. You got to excuse me. I pulled the Commander art for Naya Charm, but these are our Alara block.
Joel, what were you thinking?
I know. Jake yells at me when I don't pull the relevant art from the set.
The OG art.
Right.
God.
But this
what do we pay you for?
This is Naya Charm from the Alara cycle of charms. We've got Naya for choose 1. 3 to a creature. Return target card from a graveyard to its owner's hand. Or tap all creatures target player controls. So my quick glance at this, 3 to just creatures, I hate. Return target card from a graveyard to its owner's hand at EOT right before you go.
Not
I like
awful.
a lot.
Yep.
And a possible win con here if you're playing a creature deck. And in Naya, that's a very strong possibility that you're playing a creature deck. So tapping all creatures target player controls, whoops. Swing for lethal,
Yeah, I would say Naya Charm, A or B. That tap all creatures EOT is very good. The lightning bolt for a creature is kind of meh, but having it tacked on and just having it as an option, it's not awful. I'm not going to play it independently on a card.
Too, with that tap all creatures at EOT, because it essentially can open up a player for three players' turns.
Yeah, tap all creatures target player controls. So it's just, yeah, man, like that's like they're getting out of line.
Right.
We're going to use the Naya Charm. Let's go hard here. This might be our only push.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it becomes a very political game with us if you can't tell. But
I think because it's one mode, man, B. I've got to agree with you on the B on that one, just because it's the one mode. You've got a little bit of an Eternal Witness thing going on here. But yeah, B, it still doesn't feel like an A to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. It's not awful, but I do think that I would run it.
You know what? You said awful. Let's go A for not awful. How about that?
A for not awful. I think the card is, I really do think it's good.
These charms, man, are very interesting in terms of EDH. We got Jund's Charm up next.
All right, so Jund for remove target player's graveyard from the game, relevant.
Oh, yeah.
Or Jund Charm deals 2 damage to each creature. That's a Pyroclasm, relevant.
Yeah.
Or put 2 1/1 counters on target creature, pretty middling, heading toward I don't care. The Pyroclasm is really good. Being able to have at instant speed a Pyroclasm ready to go.
Yeah.
Also, it's green, so accessing these colors is not going to be difficult.
No.
And removing the yard from the game, I mean, if somebody's storming off in their graveyard and about to go crazy,
right?
I think, we always like having graveyard hate tacked onto a card because sometimes you don't need it. And so whenever we can find it on a card, I really do like it. I would rank this card with the Pyroclasm and the graveyard hate. I would rank it at like a B.
Yeah, I think B is a really good one for this one. I do like you said, having graveyard hate just as a utility. Pyroclasm's not always going to be relevant. Obviously, token decks it's going to hose, but once the token decks have got their anthems up or their +1/+1 tokens on all their creatures rolling, it's quickly out of relevancy, and the +1/+1 counters. But having some versatility, killing early mana dorks, it's got B potential, I think, for me. Grixis Charm is up next. Return target permanent to its owner's hand, or target creature gets -4/-4, or creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. This one hits right in the middle of the road for me, dude. If you're playing a Grixis deck, most likely you're not playing a ton of creatures, so the last mode, unless you're just building a very aggressive Grixis deck, is irrelevant. The -4/-4, what is it, Grasp of Darkness at instant speed for 3 mana. That's
gets
pretty
around
sick.
Indestructible.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That.
It could kill 4 that's indestructible or less. And then returning a permanent to its owner's hand, EOT. It's just like a fine card. It's right in the middle. I would rank it a C because I rank this C for first cuts. These are these are getting chopped.
That's how our tier list works. Our tier list is based on what kind of alliteration we can figure out. Yeah, let's go ahead and rank it at C, and then we will talk about the charm that is coming up next.
Yes, which is
Esper Charm.
Esper Charm up next. Go ahead and introduce us while I
slot
this one over there.
Just looks like kind of like a little mothball. No, I really actually really like the art. 1 black, 1 blue, 1 white, choose 1, destroy target enchantment, which I like, or draw 2 cards, which I like, or target player discards 2 cards, which in a situation can be good, so especially at instant speed.
What's the black spell? 1 black, 2 other, target player discards 2 cards that's in every freaking set. You got that as the third mode, you got divination as your second mode, and you got an enchantment removal as your first mode. All modes are always going to be relevant. Target player sitting over there with 2 cards in their hand. They pass the turn to you. Target player discards those 2 cards.
Yeah.
Put that person in top deck mode. Destroy that Coastal Piracy or that, asceticism or that
Nether Void, moat,
Nether Void,
anything,
any of the Hosey enchantments. And
sure.
if you just need cards, like we said, if you search something up and put it on top of your deck, again, this is just like a solid card for me because all three seem fairly relevant. I think it gets out of first to chop and gets into playable.
Nice and playable.
I would rank Esper Charm at B.
Yeah, I would say like B+, heading toward A. I don't hate any of it. The discard 2 probably saves it from being an A, keeps it throttled back in B.
Right.
It's pretty middle ground, that type of ability. Yeah, if it was
destroy artifact or enchantment, if it was essentially a Mortify with a divination tacked on, that would be A range for me. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It gets throttled back just a little bit from being a discard spell. Jake, we have had a lot of charms and we are down to the last one, and it is Bant Charm. Choose one. Destroy an artifact or put target creature on the bottom, finally, of its owner's library, or counter target instant spell. Did we say
finally, dude? I think we have an S. I think we do have an S.
We finally have an S. Bant Charm represents 3 that I would play. All 3 of these are so fantastic to have on one spell that you can just use it as you need it, when you need it. It represents what you want out of one of these modal charms in Commander, and I'm so excited. Honestly, I was thinking we were going to get to the bottom of the list and never have hit an S, which would be okay, but it's tight to find one.
Yeah, it is nice to find one. I was teetering on Sultai Charm being an S, but I do think that this is a clear S. Imagine if this said counter target spell and not instant spell. That being said, it is still very, very good. Yeah. I care about all of these abilities. Answering an early mana rock or some sort of pesky artifact that's just getting in the way of your success is always nice to have attached to. Put target creature on the bottom of its owner's library. It's just like it's
and it doesn't have to be attacking or blocking. Just acing.
I mean, exile would be the preferred effect, but putting it on the bottom of its owner's library attached to an uncommon charm, it's very, very good. Yeah. And then counter target instant spell, there's a lot of good splashy instant spells that pop up in Commander. Being able to stifle a combo in its tracks is nice. So yeah, it is nice to have an S.
We have ranked all of the freaking charms. Man, there were a lot of them, but I gotta tell you, looking at the list, I kind of dig how they all fell out. Those are our rankings for the charms. There are a lot of them. Did we miss any? Do you want to see any of them at a higher level? Let us know down there in the comments below. We love this series because the conversation continues with you.
That's right. If there is a charm that you have used to great success and you think we did not do it justice, please let us know. And if there's a tier list that you want to see in the future, leave it in the comments. We might get to it.
If you've seen any of our videos, you know all the rest. Hit like, hit subscribe. It really helps us out. We've got a Patreon. There are giveaways. The link is down in the description below. We think it's cool. We think you will too. And we stream on Twitch. Go check it out. Jake and Joel are magic over there. Jake, I am tapped out of this charming marathon.
Oh, I see what you did there. I would rank what you did at a solid B-.
Let me know below if you disagree with that ranking, everybody. Goodbye.